lots of crap has been going on this past week or so, and I figured why not do a news roundup talking about it. Alright, so I'm gonna play a game while I'm doing this too. I think I got all the topics that I heard about. Alright, so I'm playing PS4 Spider-Man while we're doing this. Oh, that's still loud.
Hey, Peter.
Okay. That's better. So, word is, it was reported yesterday. It was reported yet. Why is this still so loud? Right there. That's better. Okay, so it was reported, I think yesterday or the day before, that Scott Derrickson, who had directed the first Doctor Strange movie, it was previously said at, I think it was the D23 Expo, it was said that he was going to be directing the sequel, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I guess this is a story thing, okay. So anyways, so he's not going to be directing the thing, and that really sucks, because I really wanted to see his, I wanted to see what he was going to do with the sequel. I heard it was originally said before Feige ruined it, or Feige did whatever, that it was going to be full-on horror movie. And it was going to be something different. You know, it was going to be something really interesting. But now, then Feige clarified that, oh, it's not a horror movie. So it's like, what is it then? So I'm guessing Multiverse of Madness, I guess, will just be more safe fluff that'll interconnect with the rest of the MCU. There was already reports coming in that WandaVision and Loki were going to be stuff that leads up to the movie. So that's the thing. Like I said, I'm tired of like, because I really liked, I don't care what anybody says, I really liked the first Doctor Strange. I really did. I thought it was really good. I liked the actors and the cast and the story and everything, and the effects were amazing. But now he's out, and I'm like, well, why should I care? Why should I care anymore? Because that was one of, I think that, Shang-Chi, and Black Widow were the only ones that I think of this new phase that I was excited for, that I was interested in. Because I didn't really give a crap about Eternals. I don't care about Eternals. I think no matter what they do with them in the movie, they will always be irrelevant, considering that they were supposed to be considered gods or whatever, but it's like, why didn't they take down Thanos? Or why didn't they help? So it's like, yeah, you're not important, and don't go saying you're important now when you've had 10 years to tell a movie. 10 years to tell a movie, or 10 years they could have said that, hey, this was this going on here, but it wasn't, and they're just kind of doing, I mean, it's one thing with Black Widow, because that's after Civil War, and some people didn't see much of Widow between after Civil War, but before Infinity War. I think there was one. Well, then again, I think it was a Civil War. I don't know if it was Infinity War Prelude or one of them. There was something that had her, I think, in something else, that she was helping Cap with something in one of, but nobody really considers those either as canon or matters. Nothing really important happens in those, as far as I know. And the only reason why they make them is because they don't want to do comic adaptations of the actual you know, that they would actually, because they can't do comic adaptations of the movies. They just have to do preludes, and that's their marketing. Oddly enough, I think Winter Soldier had a comic adaptation, but I'm going on a tangent. It really sucks that yet another director. See, that's the thing. They mainly get indie directors. They want to get indie directors because they think that it's easier. It's the hell. I guess I have to follow them. Okay. I guess they think it's what some other people say. It's easier. It's easier to, for Marvel to control the directors if they're like indie directors and not like big names. If they were big names, it'd be like, I'm making the movie my way and you're not gonna stop me. But when it's an indie director, it's not as bad. So my best guess is Scott Derrickson wanted to have the movie be kind of 80s horror, like 80s horror flair, 80s horror, which that was a really good. I'm gonna say this now. I'm not huge into horror, but I do know there was a lot of big horror movies that were out that decade. So they really missed an opportunity. There was people really wanting this sequel to be like full on horror, or at least horror enough, you know? So it's like, not to mention there was people that liked the director of the first one. Find a safe place to climb the wall. Okay. So anyway, so there was that. There was people who liked the first movie, like myself, that wanted to see him direct the sequel. So I'm really hoping whoever the hell directs it now, I hope they're not gonna screw it up. Because that's what I'm saying. It's like they have to go. At this point, they have to go. Sorry to bring the mood down. I'm currently in the emergency room, so I'll be on and off for the stream. Well, are you okay? Hello, Red. Are you all right? I hope you're all right. Or whoever it is, if there's somebody else there, I hope they're okay. I was considering doing this tomorrow, but I figured you could join in. But I mean, if you have something important to do, I understand that. So I'm just not feeling well. I think I'll be fine. Okay. Well, I hope you get better soon. Oh, Oh, I hope I didn't screw up on that. Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to go here or... So, and it was really crazy how in the span, as I said, I hope it'll be alright. In the span of 24 hours, first they said that the Doctor Strange director, that he was leaving, and then they said that the creator of the Lizzie McGuire sequel show was leaving. And she was going to be the showrunner on this, so she's leaving too. They said, according to reports, 2 episodes of the Lizzie McGuire series were filmed. They had to halt production this week because Hilary Duff got engaged, and her and her husband are on their honeymoon. It's so weird. I thought she was already married. I guess not. Or maybe she was married and got divorced and I guess got remarried. I don't know. But they had to halt because of that, and I guess they're having to halt again because, or add to the halt because of the showrunner leaving. In both cases, yeah, I was gonna get to that topic in just a minute. Red. Oh, darn it. It's okay. It's not your fault. They were both stated that both Doctor Strange and the Lizzie McGuire thing, that they both, the director of the movie, or the director of the sequel, and the showrunner of the sequel show were leaving because of creative differences. There was a horror Twitter thing, Twitter account that does talks horror stuff, I think, or they retweeted something that was a horror thing, and a person just wrote F, fuck creative differences. Because it just ruined, it's all the time, it always ruins what would be such a cool thing, you know? It seems like things are going downhill. Well, I don't know, because, as I said, only, for the Marvel films, the only stuff I was excited about in this phase was Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and Doctor Strange 2. The director said stuff, for Shang-Chi, he said stuff about creative differences took Edgar Wright from Ant-Man. Yeah. Which is actually very ironic, because it's funny, because I heard he didn't want it being fully connected to the MCU. He didn't want to have insert Avenger here in the film. And it's really funny because the finished product they only had Falcon from the Avengers, which is very weird that it was, oh hey Underworld, that it was that. So the director on Shang-Chi said some stuff about, and I might have to add this to my list of topics in the description. The director of Shang-Chi said some stuff about heroes, something about that he was happy to work on a hero or something that was Asian. I don't know if it full on sounded woke or if it was just, and it's people were bringing up, I don't know if he meant in the context of superheroes, because there hasn't been really many Asian super, if you're talking about capes and tights and stuff. But when you're talking about Asian characters or Asian stuff, Asian roles in films and stuff in general, you have Jackie Chan and you have Bruce Lee, so it's yeah. I mean, at least I can say, if worst comes to worst, Asian countries tend to hate each other a lot. Yeah. if worst comes to worst, I'll at least see Black Widow, because Black Widow, I saw the trailer and it's like, okay, they shut the SJW, supposed SJW writer on the film. They shut her up because they didn't want her ruining the film. Which is actually, it's funny how she's supposedly SJW, but they put a fat joke. They put, like, it wasn't a mean fat joke, but it's like they had a fat joke in the film with what's his name? I think Red Guardian, the Russian Captain America or whatever. And then he says, like, it's so good to see. I can't even do a Russian accent, so yeah. But he says, like, it's so good, this family being all together again. And then, like, brings back good memory. And then the girl that's supposed to be Yelena Bernova? Bologna? I can't even remember. I know she was Black Widow after, in the comics, she was Black Widow at one point. She says, you got fat, or you got fatter. So, and then the scene cuts. So, Belova, that's what it was. Shang-Chi just seems like a filler movie. It seems like they want to make an Iron Fist movie. Then realize they did a show. To them, fat joke is okay when it's a man but not a woman. Yeah, I guess so. Or I just abandoned the mission for no reason. I guess so. But I mean, I saw the trailer for Black Widow. I'm like, this seems to be okay. This seems to be all right. It had some really great action. I mean, since Feige, I think, Natasha Black Widow was one of the only characters that Feige doesn't really give a shit about. He doesn't even pretend to really give a shit about her. He just doesn't give a shit about her. So I mean, and if that's the case, that's actually good in this case, because it means that this will probably be the first standalone film, actual standalone film, since Winter Soldier. Because that was the only other film that I've heard that Marvel just let the directors do whatever. As long as a few MCU connections were there. So, I mean, that's fine with me. Okay, so we talked about that. We talked about Lizzie McGuire. Okay, so the next topic, and this was something Cloudfish TV talked about. I feel like a Black Widow movie is too little too late. Yeah. I mean, they should have done it. Like, people demanded that film before I get on to the next topic. People demanded that film since Avengers 1. People demanded that for so long. And it's just, that should have been the first female-led MCU movie, not fucking Captain Marvel. But anyways, oh, and on a side note, Feige, before I get to my next other topic, Feige has gone back on what he said. He previously said that and Captain Marvel should have swapped release dates, yeah. Feige has now gone on record. He previously stated that Carol was the strongest Avenger, strongest character. I don't know, or one of the strong. But he has now gone on record and he has said that because of her scene in Endgame, he's now saying that Scarlet Witch, that Wanda is the strongest. I mean, and like, to be fair, I mean, she can alter reality. I mean, it's kind of hard to top that. But so that was that there. So I mean, it's like, and fans accepted that because it's in the comics too. Fans accepted that that Wanda was the strongest. So that's not. really. I mean, yeah, Carol does have some strength too, but I mean, they shouldn't have. I don't even know what the deal is with Brie Larson anymore. It's like one day people hate her, the next day she goes on one of those late night shows wearing a dress that kind of shows some boob cleavage, and suddenly some people are liking her now. I can't even keep up anymore. Somebody actually pointed out that she's kind of made herself a hypocrite because she said about how I don't have to, like, she made this thing, I don't have to dress feminine. I don't have to dress, and that's why, like, during her movie, she mostly wore, like, suits and ties and stuff. I mean, that's not really a problem, but it's like now she's just, it's like, I guess, like, trying to get the fans to accept her, so it's like, I guess she figures that's the only way. I don't know. It's a marketing tactic. He'll say Jane Foster's the strongest by the time Thor: Love and Thunder comes out. Yeah, and he'll probably deny it again after. Knowing him, if he just keeps changing his opinion, he'll just deny it. We don't even know. Personally, I think it would be humorous if they actually do Thor Jane Foster, but she's only like Thor for like 10 minutes in the movie. Like they just have her like she's temporarily Thor. Thor will go through an arc like I have to be this again, and then he becomes Thor again, and then he tells like Jane like yeah, thanks for being Thor temporarily, but hey, that's my name, that's my role, and you just find something else, you know. Fans have been accepting her as Valkyrie. I don't even know if I think her solo comic might be better. I don't know. The real Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, is so strong that his punches can create black holes. Wow. I didn't know that. Okay, so the next topic. Okay, so where's the laptop? I have to look for the laptop. Okay, so it's in one of these? Okay, so that's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so the next topic, Clownfish TV reported tonight that apparently back in 2015 when Force Awakens had come out, I don't know, I guess it wasn't really on the record then. But the actress who had played Colleen Wing on Iron Fist, aka the best thing, the most watchable thing from Iron Fist. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's kind of true. Is that it? Okay, there it is. She had, I guess, gone on record. I have to watch the video, but the video covered that apparently she really, really, really wanted to play Rey in Force Awakens. But apparently JJ said no, and he went with a white woman instead. So, I mean, awkward. Like, I don't know if, like, because she's a great actress. I mean, at least from what I saw in Iron Fist. I mean, I didn't realize that, like, they needed to, like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying very hard to not say, oh, he's a racist, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, at the same time, was it really important for Rey to be a white woman? Like, they could have, like, when Force Awakens came out, there was nothing, if you take just the character, just the Mary Sue that she is, if you take just the character, there was nothing really there that said, like, hey, this character has to be white. You know? She could have been Asian, she could have been black, she could have been any race. I mean, I understand they probably couldn't do a black one because apparently China has a thing against certain stuff and whatever, and they have to appease that market because China, more money goes into China box offices. But, still, I mean, shouldn't have been a problem if it was like an Asian woman. It wouldn't have affected the box office or whatever. So I don't know. I feel like that's what I'm saying. Even if I don't say that, hey, they were like racist, people are gonna take the fact that there was an actress ready and willing to, really passionately wanted to be the protagonist of these Star Wars films for this trilogy, and he didn't go with her. I'm in delayed, but since Brie Larson dressing sexy and showing cleavage, maybe to try to make her popular, do you think they will rework her costume, be more form-fitting, aka more sexy for the men? I don't see them doing that, but I mean, they could. Personally, what they should do, what they should have done, they should have at least, if they couldn't do, the costume from the comics, the unitard from the comics, and it had to be a full body suit and whatever, I don't see why they couldn't just have the colors of the original costume, the black, red, and yellow of the original costume. It would have been, they could have, if they must, they could have kept the Captain Marvel name. But they should have had the colors on her original costume. So, I don't know why they didn't go with that. So I don't know why they just. So anyways, I also heard that apparently JJ intentionally sidelined Rose Tico in Rise of Skywalker, but I mean, people kind of didn't care about her. So I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say that. I mean, maybe it was. I don't know if it was I don't even know. Maybe it was one of the rare times that JJ listened to the fans and how people didn't like. Most people didn't like Rose. So I heard that. I like how I still find it funny how they baited all of the so-called fans she had, because she had like a 2-second. I saw the trailer, and she had like a 2-second cameo in the trailer. She had a 2-second, she was in the trailer for like 2 seconds. So you would assume that since she's in the trailer, albeit for 2 seconds, that that she would have a big role in the film. But apparently, from what I heard, she was in the film for 76 seconds in a whopping 2.5-hour movie. So yeah. But like I said, even if I don't say that they're racist because they didn't have an Asian woman be lead in these films, people are gonna think that. People are gonna believe that, because I mean, you had this actress who was super enthusiastic and excited to be in this trilogy, and you, like, he turned her down. He didn't even give her any sort of constellation role. He didn't have her play anybody else in Force Awakens or Rise of Skywalker. So and that's really sad. For, like, if somebody is a passionate fan, you should give them some sort of role. I'm guessing she wasn't one of JJ's posse, because he gave Dominic Monaghan, who was Charlie on Lost, gave him a role, gave him a cameo in Rise of Skywalker, but not her. So that's just weird. Yep. Okay, so we talked about Rise of Skywalker. We'll probably talk. Oh, speaking of Rise of Skywalker, while we're on the topic of that, the next topic is Rise of Skywalker inconsistencies. So, I heard about the gist or whatever that happens in the film. I don't like it. There is some very weird stuff that ignores canon, and it's pitiful. It's really pitiful how like, the director wants it to be canon, but at the same time, it just feels like it feels worse. From what I've heard about it, I haven't seen it. I never plan on seeing it for a long time, at least. That it's just like, it's like worse than a fan film. This is like, I would say, based on what I've heard about it, it's like a very bad fan film that ignores canon and ignores lore. Because it's like, first I heard, and this is spoiler territory, but I mean, the film's been out for a month, so I mean, don't blame me if you get spoiled, because I'm giving the warning now. Okay, so I've secured the warning. Okay, so they bring freaking Han back as a Force ghost. I mean, Force vision that Kylo sees in the film. I'm like, there was no such thing. Like, one, Han isn't a Jedi. Two, like, then they said it's a Force vision. I'm like, what the fuck is a Force vision? They brought him back because they wanted to please the fans, but they did it in a very stupid way. I watched it. It created more questions than it answered when you think about it. I wouldn't be surprised. JJ has a habit of doing that. He doesn't create answers. He creates really good mysteries and questions. And when he does come up with the answers, he comes up with them later. And they're usually not fulfilling. They're not fulfilling, or sometimes he'll even forget about them. I remember that fans said after Lost ended, they said that the one thing that they never answered, that he forgot about in the show, was about some bird, and like, there was something, the character Hurley, and he says about how, did that bird just say my name? And they never answered it. But it's like, they made a 15-minute short film or short episode set after the finale, and it had to answer any other little questions, like any other questions that they didn't answer or forgot about. So there was that. But going back on the main topic, so they showed Han as a Force vision. It makes no sense because he wasn't a Jedi. It shouldn't be possible. At the end of the film, it was stated, this one is kind of inconsistent now, because first I heard first I heard that Rey created her lightsaber, which can you even create a lightsaber? How did she create it out of her staff? That's what I like to know. She allegedly created it out of her walking staff, which makes no sense. But she's a Mary Sue. She can do everything. There's nothing she can't do, because if there's anything she can't do, it makes her weak. First I heard that, then I heard that she took Leia's lightsaber. Leia has a lightsaber? What? I thought JJ said that, JJ made it clear in one of those conventions. He went and he did this pretentious bullcrap that, Leia never became a Jedi. She's not a Jedi. I mean, there's expanded material. You have even the freaking canon movies that show she's Force sensitive. So, I mean, if she wanted to, she could become a Jedi. It's freaking stupid saying, like, oh, she doesn't become a Jedi, and that it's not possible, and all this other bullcrap. Then they listed Ahsoka Tano as a voice of Jedi past in the credits. And from what I recall of Clone Wars and Rebels, she renounced her Jedi ship, Jedi name, Jedi title, after being framed and then having the Jedi not even believe her. She even says in the follow-up series in Rebels, which both Clone Wars and Rebels are canon, by the way. They're still canon. That it was stated that she was a Jedi. That she said in Rebels, she flat out says in season 2 she is no Jedi. So it's weird that she is listed as such. The only thing I can appreciate about the cameo, because there was rumors that they got freaking Brie Larson to play her, and it's like, no, don't you dare, you don't have her touch Ahsoka. Like, just don't have her play Ahsoka. Like, it wouldn't even fit. She doesn't fit as Ahsoka. Like, literally any other choice would be better. So, the only thing I can appreciate about the cameo was that they got, Ashley, oh crap, I forgot her last name. They got the voice actress who played Ahsoka since Clone Wars, to play her in this cameo, which I thought that part was cool. I didn't get why Ren tossed his lightsaber away, because it was evil. Why didn't he purify it? And you can say Jedi Sith can purify or corrupt the lightsaber crystal to make it on their side. I have no idea. They don't pay attention to canon. If they did, they wouldn't have made fucking Holdo. They wouldn't have made her a hypocrite, because she says, she keeps going on like, all you fly boys and stuff in Last Jedi. All you fly boys, and then you're crazy and you're wild and all this other crap. But then if you read, there was a Leia novel set in the Disney canon, in the Disney Star Wars canon, saying that in her early days, she was like wild and reckless. So she had no reason to go and say, like, she had no reason to just talk over, like, she's better than that she's better than Poe. They don't follow their own canon, they just make everything up on the fly. Yep. I wish it weren't true, but it's true. Oh, come on. There we go. So there was that. Oh, did they ever say, and I'm going to say it now, I'm going to say it, if not, then I called it as soon as Force Awakens came out. And that is, did they say in Rise of Skywalker how Maz got Luke's blue lightsaber? You said you saw the movie, so did they say in the movie how Maz got his lightsaber? Because if they didn't, then I called it 5 years ago after I saw Force Awakens. Because I called it as soon as I said, well, I know he's never going to answer it. I know JJ's never going to answer how Maz got Luke's blue lightsaber. And if he did, no. I called it. Then I called it. I knew it. I knew he was never going to follow up on it. So it's probably just going to be in, like, expanded. I guess there'll be like a comic or a novel or something that won't really matter. That'll say how she found it then, eventually. So it's like, right there, that just shows, that is, Maz was barely in the movie. Oh, screw that. Maz was, like, she was awesome. She was so cool. She was one of my I liked her in Force Awakens. I even liked, as much as I hate Last Jedi, I loved her cameo. She was fun and cool. Not screw you, Red. I'm not meaning that. I meant screw, like, JJ barely having her in the film. I only remember her showing up for a few scenes and she didn't say anything important. That sucks. I liked her. I liked her actress. I like Lupita Nyong'o is who plays her, and she did a good job. It's like, and see right there, that's a prime example. This is what J.J. Abrams does. He sets up a mystery, and he either forgets about it. It's what somebody said. It was like jumble up my mystery box. I have a picture. I'll probably show it on another stream, like when I do another Marvel Future Fight show. Like, I'm gonna jumble up my mystery box and add lens flares, and that's the movie. Like, I'm going to set up a whole bunch of mysteries. They'll either have shitty conclusions, like shitty answers, or they won't even be answered at all. So, I mean, it's like, I called it. I still liked Force Awakens, but I knew based on how Lost turned out with some of their answers, even though I think that was more or less Damon Lindelof's show. JJ, I think, still had some role in it. I don't know. But, it's like, I knew it. He was never going to answer that. So I guess he expects fans to just be like, Moss just found it. It fell off of the planet. It was probably in space for 30 years, but she just found it. 4 years ago. I think the film came out in 2015. But still, 4 years ago. I called it 4 years ago, Cyan. So, thank you for correcting me. It's like, I knew it. I knew they were never going to answer, and I ended up... I didn't see anybody when I asked, because I mentioned on Twitter, I mentioned to, like, people who had seen it, I was like, have you... Like, did they ever explain it? And I never really got an answer. I only brought it up like once or twice though, but still. It's like I'm hoping those rumors I already said before about with the rumors about him on Superman. I'm like, I hope not. He has a Superman. I mean, not JJ. Superman has like a CW show. So I mean, if he has a CW show right now, then there's no chance he's getting a movie. I'm still thinking that the TV show movie rule that if a character is appearing on one thing, they can't appear on the other. Until I hear otherwise, I think that is still in place. That's still a thing. I was told that it wasn't a thing anymore, but I think it's still a thing. So if he has a show with the CW right now, then at least it's not at least it's not JJ ruining him. I even heard JJ was apparently one of the things he mentioned is that if he did a Star Wars movie, he was going to recast Superman. That Cavill would be out then, so it may as well be like full on reboot. So it's like, uh-oh. That's why I was worried, because Cavill actually does, when he has the right material, I think he does a great Superman. I think he's the perfect actor that you could possibly get to play Superman. He even said on record before that he would be willing to play the various incarnations of him, like for the rest of his life. So I mean, that's very rare. And I keep screwing up on this. It's probably not a thing. We have two different Supermen, yeah. Because they're using the Tyler Hoechlin one, the one that was on Supergirl, who actually did a good job. He didn't do a bad job. I just hope they get the right writers. I do not want freaking Batwoman writers on the Superman. It's going to be, I think they're calling the show Superman and Lois. And it's supposed to be more slice of life type. It's supposed to focus, I think they confirmed it's supposed to be heavily based on the Tomasi run of Superman. I've said that before. It was supposed to be based on that, where they have John. So it'll probably be that, but it won't be. There probably won't be as many like super heroics. But that's kind of good, because it does make it more unique to see just a show of Superman and Lois and John, and they're just like living a happy married life and stuff like that. Did you hear about how the original Robin actor... Okay. The original Robin actor has a really big bulge that the Catholic League complained, so the studio gave him pills to let me see, let's check the life. So the studio gave him pills to shrink his dick. By original Robin actor, do you mean Burt Ward, who played him on the in the Adam West show? Do you mean the Adam West Robin? Or the Adam West 60s? Because, I mean, if so, I didn't hear that until today. Wow. That's a really... Good night, bro. Good night. Good night, sis. See you tomorrow. Or talk to you tomorrow, whatever. Because, like I said, I did not know that. That's, yes, he talked about it when he got his star. he said he never took the pills. I mean, all I'm gonna say about that is, I mean, he was in that Robin costume for like 90% of the show, so I mean, granted he was a teenager, but I mean, oh yeah, did you see Thundercats War? Oh, that's another topic. So okay, we talked about Rise of Skywalker inconsistencies. I guess we'll just go on ahead. We'll talk about Thundercats War now. All right, so Thundercats War. I was ecstatic for like 12 hours. And I'm going to say why. I had heard that they dropped the first 2 episodes of the show on the Cartoon Network app or the website, whichever one. I was so happy because it meant that this would be the first, I think that it would have been the first show to premiere. Yes, he never took the pill because of the worry about infertility. He also, wow, he has some big cojones in more ways than one to talk like that. How would he know? I don't even want to know. How would he know that it was bigger? I don't even want to know. I guess the costumes. I guess they compared stuff. Okay, so Thundercats Roar. Thundercats Roar. I was so ecstatic. I was so happy that they didn't even they weren't even gonna air it on the freaking network. That it was just gonna be on the app. But then I think 6, 8, 10, however many hours after, I saw a video on Twitter by Clownfish TV. It was in Neon or I guess it was Neon, and he posted. It was him recording that recording on the TV. Thundercats Roar on the thing. It's I was they aired it. They knew that everybody and their grandma hated this reboot. It had a small, you look on the YouTube thing for the trailer. It has one trailer before they did all this with the show releasing today. Before they did clips, they limited trailers and anything. They had one trailer. It was supposed to come out last year, but then there was delays. I mean, it's not really hard to explain why. And they said about how, I'm gonna keep losing this. I'm gonna try using the, one of the skills to help me out. Okay, so, what was it? They kept, delaying it, not showing trailers of it, nothing. So it's I was okay, well, it'll probably just drop online, either illegally, somebody within Cartoon Network or Warner Brothers, Time Warner, whatever, will probably just leak it out online. And I was okay, they're airing it on the app, so it's it's still an official way to watch it, but it's they're trying. I was they're just pushing it under the rug. But then they aired it, and I'm oh boy, oh boy. I'll pick a different costume too. I they put the comic that you have best of both worlds. You have the MCU Iron Spider suit, and you have the comic Iron Spider suit. So I'm gonna wear that. So so they aired it, and I heard some people said it was an Ambridge series. Some people said that it was spiteful and horrible. I've heard Neon and Geeky on Clownfish TV, they watched it. They said it was worse than the new She-Ra. They said it was worse than T9's Go. It's that bad. And it's like, oh boy, oh no. Oh no. It's like, oh no. It's like, you have to wonder. They had a show. They already had a show that was amazing, that everybody liked. Why did you get this Tumblr SG, I don't even know if he's SGW, you get this Tumblr guy, whatever, working on the show? It was somebody that I heard, apparently he, at one point, admitted he actually hates Thundercats. So it's like, that's the worst possible person that you get to work on a Thundercats cartoon if he doesn't even give a shit about the property he's working on. I feel like if the show had been a thing without Thundercats and Lion-O and all the characters and stuff attached to it, it may have been okay. It wouldn't have been, at least it wouldn't have been taking a long established IP, long established property, and making it the farthest thing from it, you know? And it's like that at this point. WB doesn't care. They don't care who they piss off. They think they're untouchable, which, I mean, if they keep screwing up like this, they already had lots of trouble after BVS, and they had to course correct. They had to heavily course correct. And it's just, this is crazy. Alright, let me try to beat this so I can at least, I'm tired of playing this same segment. And then we'll continue on with the news. With the nerd news, whatever. Oh, that was it. Okay, so let's continue on with the news. Okay, so if they manage to keep Thundercats Roar, I'll say this. If they manage to keep Thundercats Roar on Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. when kids don't even watch it, then it's like, yeah, it's not gonna last. It's gonna be done after season 1. It's gonna get snubbed, just like Sonic Boom did. Sonic Boom they moved it to Boomerang. That's another sign right there. If Thundercats Roar moves to Boomerang, then yeah, it's gonna die. It's gonna be dead sooner or later. So it's gonna share the same fate as Sonic Boom. It's gonna share the same fate as Justice League Action, because Justice League Action, they never freaking aired it except for Saturday mornings at like 7 a.m. when kids are asleep, when their target audience is asleep, and yet air fucking Teen Titans Go 50 times a day, all day, where kids can watch it. A lot of these animations seems to come from people who want to be on the political or hate their audience. Mystery Train I'm liking, since it doesn't have these things infecting it. You mean Infinity Train? I guess that was autocorrect. Yeah, Infinity Train's been pretty good. It's just existing, but people are also liking it. It's doing its own thing. It's not being influenced by crap, and it's its own idea. It's not just taking something else and being whatever. But just, yes. Okay. Alright, so what have we have left? Because I have my tablet on the stream. Oh, she's okay. Black Cat's okay. Yay. That's good. I guess it means she has 8 lives left. Okay, so we talked about the first 3 things, and we talked about Thundercats Roar. Okay, so while we're on the topic of animation, another thing that's come out lately is the She-Ra, the new She-Ra, whatever, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, which the title already is stupid because it's supposed to be, from what I know about She-Ra, She-Ra's supposed to be the only princess of power, but bleh. Anyways, so the showrunner Noelle Stevenson was recently accused of queerbaiting. That she went, I'll read your comment in a second. That from the get-go, DreamWorks told her no, she couldn't, like, full-on do a gay ship. That she couldn't do, like, say, She-Ra and Catra. That they couldn't full-on, that they couldn't, like, have them full-on be together in a relationship at the end of the day. So, there was word and stuff coming out saying, or stuff getting leaked out saying that she knew that, but she went and she put in all these little teases to please the LGBT community. She put all these teases that would get them talking about it, and now they understandably are getting mad because this is now saying, it's like, now this may not be the case. Granted, the characters were never a thing together, but I mean, if you look outside of that, I think in the case of any relationship, I think if it's, like, if the teases and stuff and the two characters are written well, and the relationship is written well, and it's not forced, but it's written well, but you have little teases like, will they, won't they? It's like, basically, it's kind of like Ross and Rachel, except for the fact that it's like, in this case, it's as if, with this, it's as if Ross and Rachel is teased for 10 years, and then at the very end of the show, they don't end up together. So it's like, you take that, but you establish that with, like, She-Ra and Catra, or whatever other ships, or whatever in the show. And you go and do that, like, you go and you tease, and then at the very end of the show, there's no payoff. There's the build-up, but there's no payoff to it. And that's just, it's stupid when people do that, and it's like, if she's being accused of that, well, I mean, to be honest, she was already an egotistical, all about me kind of person, so it's like, I don't want to be full-on heartless about it to her, but it's like, she had it coming. You don't just go teasing something. It was lucky that whoever leaked it out now, because people are getting pissed about it now instead of getting pissed at the end, whenever the hell the show ends. I'm liking Dragon Prince, but I worry they will pander to the shippers, since I found out that a lot of the Voltron She-Ra fans gotten into it. I guess it meant that they like, that probably because it's kind of in the same adventurer type show that it's kind of for kids, but is also something that they would like too. With Dragon Prince, except Dragon Prince it's not by DreamWorks, and it's all this other stuff. That should be another topic I talk about tonight, is Dragon Prince. A lot of time Tumblr accused people of queerbaiting when it was nothing there. I think this is the few time their accusation is true. these shippers basically want cartoon characters to fuck on screen. Well, I mean, I don't, because they're still teenagers. They're still whatever. They're whatever age. And I'm gonna say this though. It's like when you have a freaking prom dance episode, you have freaking She-Ra and Catra. I understand, like outside the show, in the original show, they would never do this. I'm saying that in this show, in this adaptation, in this continuity, or whatever it is you want to call it, that they have a freaking prom dance episode, which is already, it's off. If you've watched She-Ra, it's very off. But okay, there's a prom dance scene. There's a prom dance episode, or whatever. There's a dance episode, and you have these two characters. You have She-Ra and Catra, and they're dancing, and then they dip, and then Catra gives this look like kiss me baby kind of look. So I mean, if you ignore the sex and the all that whatever stuff, I just mean that I'm saying that it's really pretentious of this woman. It's really pretentious of. I swear she's literally the reverse Rebecca Sugar, because Rebecca Sugar, say what you want about Steven Universe, she's nice, she's sweet, she's polite, she's not rude, she doesn't go accusing fans of anything. She's very humble. But then you look at Noelle Stevenson, and she's egotistical. She's like, all this is all about me, me. And I did this, and I am the mother of She-Ra, even though there was two creators before me that actually created the character. I am the mother of She-Ra, blah, blah, blah. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think, as I said, I think it's very pretentious when DreamWorks clearly told her, no, you cannot have them be full on a relationship, but go and she ends up teasing it anyway, trying to please them, and then understandably they get mad when hearing that, hey, they probably won't even end up together. So that's the problem. I'm not even a fan of the show, and I think that's a problem, that you're gonna go and tease a gay relationship, or tease a relationship in general, and not fall through with it. But anyway, so and about Dragon Prince. I heard that. I swear I'm gonna have to edit this later to add these topics in it too. So and I'm gonna have to get back into playing this here in a minute. Dragon Prince. Complete Olympus. Okay, earn-based tokens. Okay, so that's a side quest thing. Alright, so Dragon Prince had it recently wrapped up season 3, obviously. There is still, it's been, I think, 2 months, close to 2 months since the show got its season 3. And it still hasn't been renewed yet. First there was word, there was something that the director, or the guy working on it, Aaron Ahaz, who had worked on Avatar: Last Airbender, there was word that rumors and accusations made towards him that he was like being very inappropriate sexually with some of the women working there. So first there was that. Then something else that seems to be more legit now. One of the ladies that works on the show said after season 3 came out, she said that one legit problem with him was how he really manipulated some of the fans, like saying like, oh, if you want season 2, watch, like, get all your friends and watch the show. If you want season 3, watch the first 2 seasons, so that way then we get renewed. According to her, she said that season 3 was long finished before the season actually came out. Like, it was finished probably months before, or at least like the principal voice acting was done. So it seems no matter what was going to happen with the show, people would have gotten those 3 books, those 3 seasons, because according to her, the voice acting on those 27 episodes was already long done. So I've yet to see any more legitimate evidence about the accusations, about like the misconduct or whatever it was. But I think the whole thing about manipulating the viewers, because I mean, I noticed Netflix, when season 1 came out, they like quickly renewed for season 2. When season 2 came out, they waited like maybe a day or 2, or maybe a week at most, and then they renewed it for a season 3. But it's been, since then, season 3 dropped in November. Season 3 dropped in, or book 3, whatever, dropped in November, and it's been 2 months, it's been close to 2 months, and there's still no renewal. Let's be real here, all the gay shipping is not for the LGBT community. It's just Twindoshi who getting off on the gay ships. Getting off the gay ships, they just use the LGBT flag to justify their shipping and attack critics. I mean, I guess, but I mean... Anyways, she called that manipulate. I laughed at that. I mean, I still think that is kind of weird to go and like ask for a demand. There was already people watching the show in book 1, so he didn't have to go and he didn't have to go lying to fans saying like, oh, if you want season 2, watch the show, tell all your friends, blah blah blah, go on social media, yada yada yada, when they were always going to get those 3 seasons. So I don't know. One thing that's a nice detail is the power up for the Iron Arms power up is that I think when you wear the classic Iron Spider suit, it's all gold, but I think when you wear the MCU Spider suit, it looks different. I think it looks like the movie version of the arms. I don't know, but anyway, so and given, I'll say this, it does seem, I mean, if you look at what Voltron did, it does seem legitimate that she's baiting the fans, because of the fact when you look at what Voltron did, they went and they had Shiro come out as, like, they made a statement that he's gay and whatnot, and sorry about that. Okay, so they went and they made like this big deal that, oh, he was gay, but then but it's like when you watch the episode, I was told that when you watch the episode when they introduce his boyfriend, that the way they talk to each other, the way they act around each other, it seems more like that they're close friends or like blood brothers or something. Well, not like legit brothers, but it's like 2 people that are such good friends that they are like brothers. It wasn't people putting a straight lens on it. I'll get to Armin here in a minute. It wasn't that people that they were putting a straight lens on it. It's just, it was legit, like, writing a relationship but not having any of the actual relationship bits be there, and just making it more like a friendship, or like two brothers, instead of it being two men who were together like that. So, okay, so we talked about that. Okay, so now about this, Armin. For the past year, because it wasn't doing anything positive for me, I stopped commenting, stopped hate watching, just ignored Armin about all of this. So, because of just the way he was. Because it was like, he wasn't going to change. He's not going to change. He's always going to be like, Kevin Feige is the only one who can do these characters justice. Alright, so I figured, I knew what his reaction was going to be. I saw the trailer for the New Mutants, movie, and with the release date, it's going to be April 3rd, 2020. So I was like, and I saw the trailer, I'm like, hey, this actually looks pretty good. It seems like, based on, if you look carefully at the images, it seems that they're actually doing Demon Bear. They're not finding some way to just make it some stupid thing where it's not actually Demon Bear or whatever. But it's like, they're doing that. It has the horror element, and it looks pretty good. And I figured, Armin is a Disney fan. Of course he is. We all know this. But I get what you're saying. So, I figured I'll check and see his reaction. The moron didn't even, he said, he made it say, I'm not even going to do a reaction. Because you know what it's going to be. It's going to be the same, oh, it's Fox, whatever. And it's and then he just talked about it, mainly. He did another freaking clickbait saying, it says on the title, reaction, but he didn't even friggin' react to it. He just talked about it for, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. So, he talked about that. I saw another one, so there was that, and that pissed me off. I saw another one that was talking about that, it was already confirmed. The guy literally goes on clickbait websites and stuff that, and he was talking about that there was supposed reports saying that, that Marvel may have gotten the rights to the Defenders characters, the Netflix Defenders characters early, and that they may already be going ahead doing projects. So, someone wrote in the comments, I would be a terrible I screwed up on that. So, I'm going to try to hide. Hopefully. So, I didn't watch the video, but a viewer, somebody wrote in the comments saying, oh, they shouldn't go, that he was suggesting that they should reboot, and it's I even mentioned reply to the person, and it's Armin is just, he thinks that, Kevin Feige would be the only one to do Daredevil justice, even though the show was very close to the comic, and it was a different style. I guess now, I could have sworn he previously said that it shouldn't be rebooted, but now he's changed his way of thinking because Disney. I'm gonna lose this, but oh well. So he goes and supposedly according to the person in the comments saying that, it's suggesting that, it's what are you? And I said, well, he doesn't seem to even realize that Kevin Feige never gave a fuck about Daredevil. He never gave a shit about Daredevil. if you look at, I mean, back in 2012, he tried selling Daredevil back to Fox in exchange for, I think, Silver Surfer and Galactus. But Fox said no because the last time that when they did a Daredevil movie, it didn't sell. But that's a whole other story right there. So it's like, he never cared. He didn't even do a movie or any show or anything like that was Marvel Studios. He gave it to Netflix. And now it's like, to go and say like, oh, he like would do a definitive version. It's like, there was already a definitive version. It was 39 episodes, 3 seasons. It was on Netflix. He can't accept that there are other people that can do just as good a job as Kevin Feige. I mean, you can't even say like that he is this mad genius anymore, because the past 3-4 years, the movies have been safe fluff. The only film that ever really pushed any risks, that ever did anything like special or anything, like one of the few films at least that had risks and did stuff, took risks or everything, was Iron Man, and that was now almost 12 years ago. It's just, I buried my hate, my anger for this show a long time ago. It's like, he just says such stupid things, and he just finds any way, like, I need to show any way possible how I can be a shill, how I can just shill for Disney and Kevin Feige. Anyways, enough about him. Okay, we talked about that. We have, I think, 4 topics on my list of stuff that I still need to talk about. So next, we will continue on with our Marvel talk. We will go on ahead and talk about Hawkeye. So apparently, it was reported earlier tonight that Hawkeye... I hate when people say the MCU takes risks. A risk means a chance in failure. People see and like MCU movies no matter what. Yeah, they could literally pump out a shitty movie. They could literally pump out a shitty movie and people are gonna go see it. They learned after Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel, I haven't seen it, I won't see it. But I mean, there was already so much damage that they did. Like, they did damage to Marvel. They did a huge number of damage to Monica Rambeau, which would actually be more. I know the Carol fans don't want to admit it, or the crazy ones at least. But Monica Rambeau would be more diverse than Carol is. Carol is a white woman. Monica is a black woman. There have been more people that actually like Monica Rambeau over Carol Danvers, and it was really stupid seeing, from what I've seen, Monica Rambeau be reduced to a Carol fangirl, be reduced to a child and a Carol fangirl. And it's one thing I'm hoping when WandaVision comes out, because apparently an adult version of Monica Rambeau will be showing up on the show. I am hoping that they are not going to continue to push this Carol Danvers fangirl whatever shit. Okay. Risk means they don't follow a formula. Yeah, they follow a formula now. You see the new Morbius image? Yeah, I did. I mean, I don't think it looked that bad. I don't know. I'm actually curious if they said that Morbius would be in this Sony Spider-Man universe, so does that mean it's in the same universe as Venom? Because I heard that Sony was setting up a universe. I'm guessing it's going to be more or less a universe of standalone movies. But I think that would be interesting to see Morbius be in the same universe as Venom, but not like full on do a crossover, at least not yet. I honestly didn't even know. I assumed, I figured they canceled Morbius because I didn't hear anything for a while, solely for the fact, not because Disney should, I hadn't heard much about the film for months. I think it was summer last year they were shooting, but I didn't know that I didn't even know there was I don't even recall hearing anything that they finished shooting. I just knew that they were filming. I know for a fact Venom 2's happening. I mean, I thought it looked okay. A trailer was, from what I heard, was supposedly supposed to come out later this week, or maybe it's tomorrow or something, I don't know. Okay, so, but moving back on to Hawkeye. So, it was announced 6 hours ago that the Hawkeye miniseries, whatever, has been delayed indefinitely. Reports are saying that it isn't because of anything that is Jeremy Renner, but it was because it had, according to the report, it was something to do because Haley Steinfeld has, I think it said something that they're trying to rework something that would better fit her work schedule because she's still doing movies and stuff. I know that she's the voice of Spider-Gwen in the Into the Spider-Verse, and she'd be doing that in the sequel. And I know that she was in Bumblebee, and I think they confirmed they're doing a sequel to Bumblebee. I don't know if she'll be in it, but I mean that's cool. I heard that some people are like, some of the fools that were flat out saying that Rayner was guilty of whatever the hell it was. They were all sure Jan about it, like, sure Jan, that like, oh sure, that's really what it was, and that it wasn't what it was, because they were thinking that it was something to do, like the actor was still in trouble and stuff, and it's like, that's what I don't get. That was months ago when that came out, and it's like, if Disney had, I mean, I could say a lot of crap about Disney and Marvel, or Marvel Studios or whatever, but I mean, if they had problems with Jeremy Renner and the accusations and stuff, they would have fired him months ago. They would have fired him right after that went out. But I could have sworn I heard that they didn't have any problem with Renner, or that things were fine and he'd still be playing Hawkeye. So I don't know. It seems that when that whole D23, when they had all those Marvel movie and show announcements, it just seems that it's getting more and more disappointing now, because they were the ones that announced that Doctor Strange 2 was having the same director as the first one, but now that's not the case. They were the ones that announced, they said that Hawkeye would be out in 2021, but now it's been delayed for who knows how long. So it's just, I don't know. I really don't know anymore. And one of the things they attacked him was because he played a Neo World War II. Oh yeah, World War II German bad guy in a movie. That was one movie. It's a character he plays. It's a character he plays. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that he's... These people. Just... Personally, the one thing I'm afraid that they're going to do in the Hawkeye series, the one thing that the haters will probably want more so now than ever, they're going to want the series to be like the Kate Bishop in the comics to be all like, I am the best Hawkeye. There's no one better than me. I am the only Hawkeye. I'm the best Hawkeye. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know that the people that are hating on Raynor, that they're gonna want the character of Hawkeye or the character of Clint Barton to be like humiliated and degraded and stuff just because they hate the actor. I mean, I had my issues with him at first, but then I heard he was actually a decent guy and stuff, and it's like, okay, I don't really hate him anymore. So it's like, now I'm just thinking he doesn't deserve all this. And then it's like, there was some asshole who was saying like, I'm sorry that you don't take the threat of assault seriously. And it's like, I posted 2 different times. First one I wrote bruh, and I posted 2 pictures. And then it's like people are just not taking any evidence, or blah blah blah. And it's like, I posted and I wrote in quotation marks, evidence, and it was the same 2 photos. The 2 photos were of an update about oh shoot. Should have known that was gonna happen. The 2 photos were an update of the article saying that the wife that was accusing him of shit was actually more or less the bad parent or whatever in the thing, because it seemed that the only reason why she wanted to be with him was because it's like there was proof, supposed proof, or somebody or something. He went and he said that Jeremy Raynor said that his wife once said something about my friends that she dated an Avenger, and she was trying to get her friends talking to him so that way then they could start dating some of the other cast members, and that there was all this other stuff, and that there was supposed legit proof that he had that that she had been like, she was the one, because there was some of the accusations she made was like, oh, that he takes drugs, he drinks booze. There was legitimate proof, like he did the drug test, he did the alcohol test, they all came back negative, so he wasn't taking drugs, he wasn't taking booze. They had when he had his scheduled visits with his daughter, there was like according to him, there was always somebody there like supervising, watching over his visits with his daughter, and that nothing happened. He wasn't abusive, he wasn't a bad parent, nothing. And there was stuff going around that she had been the one that had been drinking and taking drugs and stuff. So it's like, you have all this stuff, and not to mention, it was fucking TMZ. It was freaking TMZ, a gossip rag, that first reported the shit, and then waited a couple hours, and they said, oh, we have an update, it seems this may not be the case. And it's like, nobody's gonna care about the update. Nobody's gonna go and talk about the update. They're just gonna go, you're gonna wait a few hours to have people believe like, oh, he did this, and it's like they're just gonna have their mind set on it. They're just gonna have their mind set on it that he did this, and they're not gonna care if when there's an update saying that, hey, it seems that the wife is the guilty one. Nowadays it's like guilty until proven innocent. That's what somebody wrote on the thing on Twitter. I had 4 replies on Twitter that I haven't, or 4 notifications. One of them may have been the person there that I replied to. So that's gonna be a whole bag of worms when I checked out. Hopefully, I'm almost hoping the girl just ignored me. I don't even want to bother talking to her. Because I know it's a girl because the profile picture had a girl with glasses, I think. And then another thing that the wife said, another thing the ex-wife or whatever said, was that he was mentally unstable, and that one of the things he did, he was supposedly going to shoot himself, but then he took the gun and he went and he shot the ceiling, and it apparently scared her. This was supposedly in their house, or whatever it was. So I'm like, if that's the case, if this was something recent, if this was like in the past few days or the past week, have a cop, have somebody, and you'd have your proof then and there. Have a cop, have somebody go to the fucking house and see if there's a bullet hole in the ceiling. If there's a bullet hole in the ceiling, if it was like right after these accusations were made, or that he went and shot, if this was like right after this supposedly happened with him supposedly shooting the ceiling, then have a cop go to the house. See, make it even better. Have it be like a black man, a black cop, or an Asian cop, or a female cop. Go to the house. So that way then the crazies can't go and say, oh, it's a white man supporting a white man. But have... I probably will. Okay, boomer. Doesn't boomer mean somebody born in the 60s, though? Or is that just... I heard about this. I didn't think it was... I thought it was a weird insult at first, but I don't know. I can't keep up. But it's like, you have somebody go to the house right after this allegedly happened and see if there's a bullet hole in the ceiling. If there is, then okay, then he may have done this. If there isn't, then it means the bitch was lying. Well, not bitch, but I mean the druggie. The druggie, the asshole, the whatever. It's like nowadays, ever since all of this with... I'm glad that there's more people who have had correction, boomer, okay. I'm glad for the people who actually have, I mean, not that that's happened to them. I'm glad that they have had the courage to come out and say when this person did this to them and hurt them and stuff. But I mean, it's like, at the same time though, it's like it seems that some people nowadays just use that, and you don't know for sure. Sometimes you don't know for sure, and you don't want to be a scumbag who denies it. But when it's, sometimes you don't know, and you don't know for sure. And you never know. They could end up lying about it. And then if they do lie about it, then that just makes things worse for the actual people who actually have had things happen to them, because it means that they won't be taken seriously. So it sucks for everybody involved when people go and lie about it. If she did reply, I might take your suggestion about the okay boomer. Because, I mean, there was actual evidence there. I posted it, like, the thing saying the update, that she may be there was legitimate proof that she is the guilty one. I can even read what the update said if I could pause, or after I'm done with this. People use boomer to refer to old people or people with old belief. Okay. Then that would be probably the perfect thing to say to her. Because it's not a bad word. Boomer isn't, as far as I know, not a bad word. it's not full on an insult. It's not like fully vulgar. So I mean, it's a perfect thing I could say without her saying like, "Oh, you something ist. You're racist. You're sexist. You're this. You're this. You're this." Also, to refer to people who are out of touch with the young people or modern time. Gotcha. I'm gonna take the time just to say to you now, I'm glad that you're here on the stream, because I remember when I did one of these streams before, when it was late, you were saying you were gonna get ready and go to bed, and I was worried doing this stream so late that you were only gonna be here for a little bit. But I mean, thank you so much for being here. I mean, I still have other topics to talk about, but I mean, just thank you for joining in. And I hope Red, our other guest who was here earlier, he mentioned when the stream started that he said he was in the emergency room. He just said he wasn't feeling good, that he should be all right. But I hope that he'll be okay. So, I just wanted to take the time to say thank you. I'm just glad that I have people joining in at all. I think it would be like I would have a wow moment, just a phrasing moment if I had like 100, 200 people watching. But I'm right now I'm just thankful that I have viewers at all, watching this, and I get to talk about how I feel about stuff and have people listen to how I feel about it. As of lately, to continue on with stuff with my channel, I've been thinking lately about just my channel description, about the whole woke agenda like just anything like ranting about that. It's like my channel isn't even about that anymore. I just do game streams. I do the occasional video nowadays. So I'm just feel like just doing other, or just changing the description. Because nowadays it's like you have to be careful when you talk about like, oh, anti-SJ, because it just seems more like, and that's something I've mentioned before, and it's been on my channel before, that more and more people are getting more crazy, passive aggressive, angry about it, and it's like it's just not good for me. It's not good being mad or angry all the time about something. That's why I've been trying to be more mellow about stuff. Because it's just... So there was one girl who identified as anti-SJW. It was this girl, Wished Upon a Vlog, and I think I talked about her before when I did the video about the Aqualad, the Young Justice Aqualad crap. The video that the girl was saying that it was already going woke, and something when she went and then she said that she didn't even admitted that she didn't even watch the episode, but said it was woke SJW, and she knew nothing about the show or the characters. And she admitted that at least a couple times in the video. Give me just a second. But she recently went, and because the way she writes stuff and whatever, she acts like a child the way she writes stuff. And she went and she started calling out the anti-SJWs, and she made up some bullshit and stuff. And there was proof that that wasn't the case. And she was also accused of, like, people thought it was so, they thought it was so weird. I'm just gonna sit right here. I'm gonna perch right here. People thought it was so weird, like, that she would go on the Geeks and Gamers, like the Jeremy Geeks and Gamers streams, that she would go on those streams, but then she would go on those streams, and then she, like, when he wasn't around, she would talk shit about him. So it's like, people are thinking, which side are you on? Like, are you with them? Are you against them? Or are you just a mental unstable chick? Because then people were saying that she had been stalking him or cyber stalking him. So it's like, do you like him? Do you not like him? What's your problem? Anyways, emergency room wait time tend to be hours on average, and urgent care would be less than 1 hour. Also, people tend to not know about them. Yeah, I know about them. I know somewhat about them because um there was stuff last year that was going on. I know that it takes a couple hours at least when you need to go for something. So yeah. Okay. So anyways, okay, so we have 3 topics left. I might call it after that. I don't know. Oh, one last thing while we're on the topic of Hawkeye. I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna read what I think I've read the update before, but it's probably been months since I last talked about it. So I'm gonna find the picture. Okay, here it is. Alright. Now the original report by TMZ, it was at, I think, 7 a.m. when they said about that, oh, he did all this. They did an update at 11:54 a.m., so they waited close to 6 hours. Or they waited, let me see, if it was 7 a.m. So they waited 5 hours, almost 6. I watch her. She has some run-in with the Fandom Menace. Some members of the Fandom Menace been acting like SJW the past few months. Huh. I don't know, cause I mean, I watched her, and she had a picture that she used for Aqualad, and it was just, it just seemed like an unhinged 6-year-old did the picture. That, like, oh, that it was going gay, and she made this big deal about it, and had like colors, and then she made up some bullshit saying that the SJWs supposedly said that the SJWs or the shippers or whatever wanted a bisexual Aquaman or bisexual Momoa Aquaman. But I mean, I looked up stuff, and I mean, I didn't look up stuff, but I haven't heard anywhere that anybody wanted Jason Momoa Aquaman to be bisexual. I haven't heard anything. So I think she was just doing that just to say stuff, just to make up bullshit. Because it's just... And she just seemed, in some of her videos, she just seemed so passive aggressive and so angry over stuff. And I should have seen it when I watched the first episode. People just, to me, you can be mad about it. You can point out what's wrong with it. It's just she just got really, really angry, like, just really like, oh, this is bad. and almost hyperactive, I guess is the closest word I can think of. I don't know. Anyways, alright, so the update on the Jeremy Renner claim. So they waited close to 6 hours after the original report. So it says 11:54 a.m. Pacific time. Jeremy is firing back in legal docs of his own at Sonny's claim. Sonny, Sonni, that was the ex-wife, or whatever she is. At Sonny's claims, he abuses drugs and alcohol in front of their daughter, stating she's making up the allegations because she's pissed their relationship never worked out and looking for a cash grab. Renner insists he does not abuse drugs or alcohol and even states he submitted to random drug testing for 3 months to defeat Sonny's claims. According to Renner, those tests all came back negative and suggest Sonny is the one with the drug problem. Jeremy states he even hired a mental health. I'll read your comment, or your next comment in a minute. Renner insists he does not abuse. Okay, according to Renner, those tests. Okay, one of the drug problem. Jeremy states he even hired a mental health specialist to monitor his visits with Ava. Ava is their baby daughter. Monitor his visits with Ava to prove he was both sober and a capable parent. The docs also lay out a timeline of Renner's film releases and the history of Sonny's allegations against him, including sexual and physical abuse of Ava, suggesting Sonny plans her attack to bring Jeremy bad press during his movie runs. Rayner says Sonny's allegations stem from her psychological problems, and he wants the court to limit her time with Ava until she gets treatment and shows she can overcome her overwhelming obsession with demonizing Rayner. Rayner says over the 1-year marriage, Sonny would brag to friends that she bagged an Avenger and joke that she wanted to introduce her own friends to fellow Avengers cast members so they could bag an Avenger as well. So, yeah. You haven't seen the Jason Momoa Rule 34 slash porn? Well, I didn't even know there was any. I didn't even know there was any. I don't think it's got. I mean, I would say there would probably be porn of his Aquaman and Amber Heard's Mera, but I didn't hear anything that there was all this, like, I don't think it was in like such a big. I didn't think it was like Cap and Bucky, whatever the hell they call Stucky or whatever, Captain America and Winter Soldier. There was a lot of that after I don't know if it was the first Avenger after Winter Soldier. It was one of those two. It was all over the map. There was a lot of people shipping those two, even though they were more like brothers or friends. I had no idea there was any. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, you can, like I said, you can stay subscribed to her. You can stay subscribed to her if you want, but I mean, she just seems very unhinged. And I don't even know about all the stuff with the Fandom Menace acting like SJWs in the past few months. I think more of them are just being chill. I mean, last I checked, everybody in the Phantom Menace hated these new films. That hasn't changed. I'm not denying what you're saying. Maybe some of them are acting like that, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. I don't know. Okay, so moving on. Okay, we have. Okay, I guess we'll talk about this next. I don't know if I mentioned it. Well, then again, I don't think it did because this was something that was like a week or so ago. So the DC Universe subscription service My best guess is because of something that just happened lately that it is that they're probably low key killing it, because there was already subtle signs before, because they said Doom Patrol Season 2 was going to be both on DC Universe and HBO Max. They said Stargirl would be on DC Universe, but then have a next day release on CW. Like, you just have to wait 24 hours and then it'll be on the CW network. And something else I heard lately is that originally, one of their hooks to get people, I'm just going to swing around for a little bit, I won't worry about continuing the story for now, or doing any battles or anything for now. So one of the previous hooks that they said that, as a way to get people into subscribing to the service, was that whenever one of the animated movies comes out, it would either be like have a next day release, or maybe like at least you just have to wait like either the next day or a week after it comes out on DVD, and then it would be out on the subscription service. Immediately I thought that was actually very cool, but I don't know, because then they went and they said 3.5 months after it came out, they said they finally put Wonder Woman Bloodline on DC Universe. So it seems they're going against that. And then, off of DC Universe, with nothing rotating in. So there's, no other shows, no other movies or anything that would be rotating in. So, I feel like the internet connection is currently not sufficient to broadcast gameplay. Okay, so warning now if it stops. Just in case. It might stop. I'm going to keep talking either way, but it might stop, and I'll have to start this over again. Just as a warning. Warning anybody that's still here. So it seems, because when HBO Max comes out, it seems that I think they're just gonna probably quietly end DC Universe, because I don't see it continuing. I think they might move their originals to HBO Max, and it kind of makes me nervous, solely for the fact I never really cared for DC Universe. It was kind of I don't know, the quality was kind of poor for a subscription service. Quality was really poor for a subscription service, like the video quality and stuff. And there'd be glitches with the comics on there and whatnot. That's what I'm saying, is that their services, they'll probably just either move to other stuff, or they'll probably cancel. From what I hear, the animated movies have been dropping in quality for a while now, so I don't see that as much of a draw. As a draw. Well, Death of Superman, that was, I think, 2018. That was pretty good. I heard Reign of Superman was slightly less good, but I think it was, like, good to end, like, as a way to continue, be the second act or the second part of that whole arc. I heard they did Death of Superman better than the previous animated Death of Superman adaptation, which was Superman Doomsday, and it also did the story better than BVS did. So I don't know. What other films came out? I know that came out. The Wonder Woman Bloodlines movie came out. I think that one was pretty good, from what I know about it. I think it was. There was nothing in it that seemed bad, so I don't know. Oh, and the thing that makes me nervous, whether, because they said Greg Weisman said they just started production on season 4. or that maybe they've been doing production for a while now, I don't know. But I guess they just started now, or needed a few months to get things together and start up now. So they just started now, so I'm worried if the season will even release. If DC Universe will still be a thing by the time they get the episode or the season released, because they could end up, if the service dies, then yeah, they either won't release it or they may release it on HBO Max. I don't know. So that was a thing. Huh. Anyways. Let's see. Maybe we'll look for some Hammerhead crimes. We'll do that. Okay, so the only other things I have left that I know about there was early reports coming out for Star Trek Picard, or just Picard, whatever they're calling it. And they said that there was some people, like early leaks and stuff, saying that it was really bad, or just meh. I don't know. I actually find it very sad. I find it very sad. I watched some Next Generation when I was younger because it aired in reruns on TV, or aired in syndication. So I find it sad that after JJ's shitty attempts with the movie, apparently shitty attempts that he never even finished. He did one movie and just left to the other directors to just fix his mess. Oh boy. So between that and then you had Star Trek Discovery, which people have forever joked they use the abbreviation for it as a joke, STD, because sexually transmitted disease. So, and they've used that as a joke, so, for how bad it is. So there was that, and it's really sad because it seemed Picard bringing back Patrick Stewart, even some of the actors that were on Next Generation, and going to all the trouble getting them back, and doing this new show. It's just sad because it was like, that was like the last attempt, that was the last chance that they had to win the fan base back, win the fans back. But now, it's like, that's what I've been saying, is that they need to fire. There was this showrunner on it who did like horrible on Discovery, who just doesn't get Star Trek at all. Like the worst possible person to get on to work on this new division or whatever, or be in charge of Star Trek overall. And he seems horrible, and I was like, why haven't they fired him? You know? It's crazy. It's really crazy. Okay, so there was that, and then the last topic I had, I might see after that, I might finish. Let me see how much progress I have on this. It doesn't even say progress, that sucks. Let me see. Last thing I was talking about was another thing Clownfish TV was talking about was they watched the premiere of the new season of Doctor Who, and they said that it was still sadly boring. And I find it, I don't know, I find it kind of sad because not that they don't like it. I mean, if it's boring, then that's whatever. I find it sad that I personally think, I mean, granted, I don't watch much Doctor Who, so, I mean, you can say whatever about my opinion not being valid or whatever, but I mean, I really thought that, like, that Jodie Whittaker, I thought would be pretty good at playing the Doctor, or that it'd be something new and something, you know, I don't know. I mean, I saw a clip that kind of showed that she wasn't like angry feminist whatever, that she wasn't like that, and that she wouldn't be like a Mary Sue or something, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, I keep saying I think they need to find better writers and stuff this season, because find better writers, that way then she could have better material to work with. Who knows? What am I supposed to do here? I'm just supposed to throw barrels? Okay. I don't know. What do you think about all this with Picard and with Doctor Who? It's sad that whenever they do a diversity push, they never bring in the A-lister, but instead C and D-lister. Huh. So what, Jodie Whittaker wasn't... Oh, you mean do you mean the writers? Because I could have sworn Jodie Whittaker was... that Jodie Whittaker was, like, popular in Britain or wherever it is, wherever she's popular at. Oh shoot. Set, okay, attack hammer, okay, so that's what I'm supposed to do. Oh shoot. Ah, crap. Anyways. Maybe they'll work something out. Another thing is they need to fire, That's just like with Picard. They need to fire the showrunner on Doctor Who, because I heard even before the Jodie Whittaker, even before with Jodie Whittaker, I heard people say that Series 12 that had the, oh shoot, what's his name? The Doctor that was before her, that he wasn't bad take on the Doctor, but he didn't have good material to work with. And I thought that was the case with, I figured that was the case with Whittaker Doctor, Jodie Whittaker Doctor. Women that I know who watch Doctor Who tend to want the Doctor to be a hot guy. 90% of the women I know who watch it left because there was no hot Doctor. Yeah, I guess so. Anyways. My best guess is by the time they do the next Doctor, that if they'll probably just have the Doctor be a guy again. Maybe that'll sort things out. I don't know. It's just it still really stinks for some people have called like their doctors by the numbers. So David Tennant Doctor would be 10. Tom Baker, I think is his name, he would be 4. He was the 4th Doctor. So Jodie Whittaker Doctor would be 13. So it really stinks for 12 and 13 that they had such mixed, either bad or mixed material to work with, and they didn't get any better material. Ah, crap, there it goes again. I heard something lately that the actress who played Rose on Doctor Who, because they kept her character alive, and she mentioned something in the past couple years that there was like a movie or not a show, but I think a movie spin-off something that was going to focus, I think that she wanted to do that. I think it was focused on her, and I think the Tennant Doctor, David Tennant Doctor, and I think it was her, Tennant, or 10, the 10th Doctor, so 10, her, 10, and I think, which it was odd because I think she was introduced during 12's run, I think River Song. I think it was going to be some sort of spin-off movie, whatever. It was going to be about Rose, and they were bringing back the 10th Doctor, and they were going to also have River Song be there in some story. And as far as I know, I heard fans were on board with it, but I think the moron in charge of, I don't know if the moron showrunner in charge of current Doctor Who got it canceled or something. Which really sucks, because if fans are on board with it, if fans want to see that, then it's like, let them do that. You gave Doctor Who a spin-off. BBC gave Doctor Who a spin-off. 2 spin-offs, in fact. One that was Torchwood, and then one that I think focused on one of his original companions. It's like, if you could do 2 TV spin-offs, you could do a movie. In fact, movies, in some cases, can cost less than like 22 episode seasons, because you're only doing one thing. You're not doing like yearly, a yearly thing. Especially if the film is standalone. If the film is standalone, it just means you're just doing something this one time, you know? Anyways, I don't know anymore. Come on. Ah, crap, I'll have to do that again. What do you think about the whole thing with Picard? That's what I'd like to know. Because I mentioned Picard. I don't know if you watch Star Trek or know about what's going on with that. Come on, take him down, take him down. I heard that there was spin-off planned, but there was a spin-off show Class that failed, so they may have canceled it. I remember people were waiting for the daughter show, but that never happened. Huh. Come on, jump over him. There we go, come on. Come on. There we go. Shoot. After this, I'll see how much percentage is left. And if there isn't too much left, I might finish this tonight, or I might do another stream tomorrow. I'm thinking about doing proper